Chen never thought that she would travel to a small urban novel and become a follower of the villain. And as long as you hit the protagonist Ye Xuan, you can receive a reward. So in the storyline of treasure appreciation. Young master, I think this can be bought. Young master, this contract is fraudulent and cannot be signed. Young master, there's something wrong with this woman. She might have been sent by Ye Xuan. Chen, who was familiar with the plot, began to attack Ye Xuan. And later on, even the villains lamented. This little brother can handle it. If there's something, he's really up to it. He even knows my fiancé AE. Chapter 1. Traversing into a villainous follower. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tomorrow, the young master will go to the antique street to pick up the leak. This matter must not be disclosed to my father, have you heard? Tomorrow, you should also come with Ben Shao. A domineering voice sounded. Yes, young master. The subordinates around immediately nodded, indicating that they had heard. Among these attendants, a man with obsidian-like eyes and a slightly handsome appearance fell into confusion. Have I traveled? Soon, Chen received all the information. There is still a bit of disbelief in my eyes. He never expected that when he woke up, he would actually travel to a male-themed novel called Return to the City. Dragon King Returns. And his identity is still a brainless licking dog villain, a small follower of Bai Zihang. Misty Grass. Chen couldn't help but laugh and cry for a moment. I don't ask you to cross time and become the protagonist, even the villain. What's the point of crossing time and becoming a small follower? At this moment, there was a sudden ding sound. The villain follower system awakens and has been bound to the host. In the following 10 seconds, Chen was stunned by the system's crazy introduction. In the future, as long as you serve as the follower of the villain, help the villain Bai Zihang defeat the male lead Ye Xuan, and maintain the plot of the original work, you can receive various system rewards. In the future, he can even relinquish his identity and become a true destined villain, as long as the system meets the conditions of the villain aura. And all the plot of the novel, Return to the City. Dragon King Returns, has been integrated and entered his mind. It's much more interesting now. Chen's evil charm smiled. No, this is exclusive to the protagonist. We can't use it yet. When he was awkward and didn't know how to laugh for a moment suddenly, at this moment, Bai Zihang's somewhat angry voice rang out. Hey, Chen, why are you laughing? You're not going to secretly tell my father, are you? Master Hui, no. Chen showed utmost respect. But his inner voice was. You dog, what are you pretending to be? Not yet a person who has been slapped in the face by the protagonist. Without labor, you're just a brainless licking dog, you know. At this time, Chen's voice was crazy roast. But all of this was heard by Qin Yue next to her. Next to her, a flattering woman, a black and white plaid shirt, matched with a pure black miniskirt, the snow-white long legs are dazzling, matched with Armani's perfume taste and delicate face. It's like a beauty on earth, but no one in the room cared about her because she was Bai Zihang's fiancé AE. But in Bai Zihang's eyes, there was only Lin Shuer, who was truly a licking dog. Tomorrow, I will go to the antique street to pick up a leak, also to choose a good item to give to Lin Shuer at the upcoming birthday party. And as a result, he offended Ye Xuan and was crazily slapped in the face by Ye Xuan in the later plot. The young master's decision is really impressive. Tomorrow at the antique street, you will definitely find something good that has been missed. Chen thought about the plot, praising and roast crazily at the same time. No, there's no need to wait anymore. This product will be slapped in the face tomorrow. Qin Yue, who is so beautiful beside her, doesn't want to go lick that Lin Shuer. At first glance, it was identified as cerebral palsy. At this moment, the capital under the black and white checkered shirt of Qin Yue next to her fluctuated up and down, turning back and forth, finally finding the source of her inner voice. His voice was exactly the same as his heart just now. If nothing unexpected happens, this subordinate named Su Chen is the source of his inner voice. And he actually praises me for being beautiful. Qin Yue's pitiful expression with a hint of grievance suddenly became happy. After becoming the fiancée AE of Bai Zihang due to a family alliance, she has been treated coldly. In Bai Zihang's eyes, there was only that Lin Shuer. This is the first time someone has pitted themselves and spoken for them. Qin Yue clearly suffered countless grievances. At this moment, she was truly grateful to Su Chen for being able to speak for her. This is the voice of my heart. What exactly is the situation? Why can I hear his voice? Haha, of course I can pick up good things that I missed. You're right about that, reward 100,000 yuan. Bai Zihang laughed heartily, and Su Chen's words were very useful. Soon, the secretary next to him directly typed 100,000 yuan into Su Chen's card. What? When Su Chen saw the prompt for 100,000 yuan in mobile banking, he was completely dumbfounded. Sleeping slot, is this money so good? Undoubtedly, he is the second-generation brainless rich. Young master is mighty. After the young master picks up the missing item tomorrow and gives it to Lin Shuer, she will definitely look at the young master differently. Su Chen was extremely respectful and continued to praise. King Yu of Zhou, playing with the beacon fire to the feudal lords, couldn't compare to the young master's gift for Bo Baoxi's smile. Ding! Your Gongshang Bank has received 100,000 yuan. Ha ha ha. Bai Zihang was very happy, with a wide smile on his face, and then asked the secretary lady to hit Su Chenka with 100,000 yuan. Thank you, young master. Young master is mighty. Su Chen was also overjoyed and very happy. Nima, this money is coming. It's just a few sentences, there's already 200,000 in the deposit now. How many working people can't earn this salary even after working hard for a year, this pirate king? No, this villain follows suit, Nima. I'm done for it, don't even come and compete with me. Pushi. Qin Yue, this coquettish woman, has been almost overwhelmed by Su Chen's voice and has been holding back a smile or something. It's really uncomfortable, okay. And this person named Su Chen is also very interesting. Qin Yue, why are you laughing? You can't tell my father, do you know? After scolding, Bai Zihang thought for a moment and said, forget it, come with us tomorrow too, so as not to have any accidents. So, tomorrow's Antique Street Leak collection itinerary has been arranged and is only waiting for the next day's arrival. Chapter 2 Sentences. A man spends 200,000 on me. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this moment, Su Chen was envied and looked at by the group of followers around him, enjoying it very much. Have you learned anything, scumbags? This is what makes a professional follower. 2 sentences, let the man spend 200,000 on me. Do you know that marketing accounts require apprenticeship, Pushi? Qin Yue, this charming woman, couldn't help but cry and laugh. It was really painful to hold back her laughter. But none of the people present were aware of the abnormality, as they were all looking at Su Chen with envy. Learning is one of the essence of following a class. At this moment, Su Chen was suddenly startled by the sound of the system. Detected that the host is envied by the surrounding followers, hereby reward the novice gift pack, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Diamond Immortal Body, the 12 Great Perfections. Sleeping slot. Su Chen was startled by the luxurious reward from the system. Then he tried to pinch his own flesh with his hand, it didn't hurt at all. In other words, this is almost equivalent to an invincible defense, although it is not very offensive. Because I was too afraid of pain, the system helped me fully defend myself. Good guy, invincible here. Congratulations to the host for obtaining. Constitution +5, Introduction. It is related to physical fitness and vitality. The higher the physique, the lower the probability of illness, and the stronger the physique. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Appearance and Temperament +5, Introduction. It does not affect the overall appearance of the host, but in the eyes of outsiders, temperament and appearance will be improved. The system directly and boldly received a wave of 3 consecutive rewards. I was stunned to see Chen. This system is really considerate. I don't know what kind of reward will be obtained by attacking the male lead Ye Xuan. Chen thought to herself that she couldn't wait for tomorrow's arrival. Hey, how do you feel? Like this guy has become quite handsome. Qin Yue, who had been watching Chen all along, had to be stunned for a moment, and a hint of surprise flashed in Shuimei's eyes. Is it my illusion? MD, what has this female lead been watching me for? Qin Yue, aren't you Ye Xuan's licking dog? Tomorrow is the right time to lick Ye Xuan. Why are you looking at me as a little servant? However, it has to be said that Qin Yue's beautiful legs are really pleasing to the eye. These white and tender long legs, if worn with black silk. Hiss, I can't imagine. Chen peeked at her beautiful legs while turning his head like a gentleman. His voice also puzzled Qin Yue. Ye Xuan. Which small biscuit is Ye Xuan? Why should I be his licking dog? Qin Yue expressed confusion, and the other party's description has always been about the protagonist, or female lead. Is it possible that this is a world of film and television dramas, or a world of novels? As the second female lead, Qin Yue was not stupid and quickly thought of these things. However, all of this should wait until the next day before the case can be solved. The next day. The antique street at the foot of Huolu Mountain. The Wenwu temple at the gate is ancient and dignified, enshrining 2 deities, one literary and one martial. Its history can be traced back to decades ago, and it can be said to be a historic street that gathers the century-old vicissitudes of Hong Kong Island. There are many shops around. The antique collections on this street are very complex, including ceramic antiques, jade antiques, jewelry antiques, metal antiques, as well as bamboo and wood-tooth horns, the 4 treasures of the study, embroidered bronze ware, and hanging brocade bracelets, making it like a comprehensive antique market. The young master of the Bai family, Bai Zihang, appeared in the antique street with a group of followers. The imposing and domineering appearance of a playboy attracted the attention of many people. At first glance, one can guess that he is definitely a wealthy second generation or something. In Chen's view, this is also the most classic brainless second generation template, always taking a group of little brothers with them wherever they go, waiting to be slapped by the protagonist. The first plot, if nothing unexpected happens, is that Bai Zihang falls in love with a raw stone in store 705. As a result, for some reason, I didn't buy it, but I was caught by Ye Xuan, who passed by and picked up a leak. I opened the legendary Emperor Green, which shocked the whole audience and even slapped the villain Bai Zihang in the face. As fiancé AE, Qin Yue also has a high opinion of Ye Xuan due to the plot. Chen murmured about the plot in her heart. Overall, it was a very classic plot, where Ye Xuan picked up the loopholes and slapped the villain Bai Zihang in the face. This plot also made countless readers shout and enjoy. Not only did he pick up the leak, but he also gained the favor of his villainous fiancé AE, making him very satisfied. At this moment, Qin Yue also made another appearance on the antique street, revealing her fragrant shoulders and collarbones, as well as her snow-white long legs, which were as dazzling as ever. From Maserati Ghibli, when she stepped down, she unexpectedly wearing the legendary black silk. Chen almost had nosebleeds spurting out, you know. He just finished roast yesterday. It's a pity that the other side's big white and tender legs don't pedal 3 rounds. No, it's a pity not to wear black silk. The other party ended up wearing it today. What the hell is this? You should know, in the original text, it seems that Qin Yue never wore black silk once. You're late. Bai Zihang doesn't have any special feelings about this. Because he is Lin Xuan's exclusive licking dog, he has little interest in other women except for the plot of being slapped. Even if this woman is his fiancée A.E. And Qin Yue didn't bother to pay attention to him, so she naturally twisted her delicate waist and walked over, looking at Su Chen and asking. How about it, does it look good? Okay. Of course it looks good. Omega, Omega, while Su Chen looked bewildered, she couldn't understand the other person's behavior. He soon realized something was wrong. Shouldn't you be trying to please Bai Zihang or Ye Xuan? Why are you asking me, a little assistant? Hey. And this woman is not at all aware, it seems that she is not aware of how deadly her black silk is. Cough, of course my sister in law is very good looking. She's a perfect match for our boss, Bai Zihang. Su Chen coughed twice and replied. After realizing that Bai Zihang had no response, he quickly changed his mind. However, Lin Xuan may be a better match for our boss. As soon as these words were spoken, Bai Zihang was like a dog seeing feces. His eyes lit up and the corners of his mouth curled up, saying, really. Subsequently, I decisively instructed the secretary to take action. Ding. Your commercial bank has received 100,000 yuan. Su Chen's phone received another message happily. The little brothers around cast envious gazes. Hee, little ones, have you learned anything? What is the essence of being a follower? I understand now. Su Chen smiled slightly and said, thank you, boss. At the same time, he roasted in his heart. However, in general, Lin Xuan and Qin Yue should be beautiful women of the same level. Although I haven't met Lin Xuan yet, as the female lead, she definitely looks extraordinary. Both are beautiful women, but unfortunately, both have cerebral palsy. As soon as these words were spoken, they immediately caught Qin Yue's attention. With a raised eyebrow, he looked at him with some displeasure. Chapter 3. Emerald Green, shocking the entire audience. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. This Qin Yue will fall in love at first sight or something after seeing Ye Xuan, laughing to death, truly worthy of the halo of lowering intelligence. The female leads are all brainless and attached to each other. This is not cerebral palsy. What is it? As soon as Su Chen roast, Qin Yue was immediately attracted. What kind of Ye Xuan would I post upside down? What international joke? Qin Yue was furious, and at this moment her seductive and pretty face was filled with anger. I can never be such a person myself. What kind of thing is that Ye Xuan, making himself stick to him backwards? Before seeing Ye Xuan, Qin Yue was already full of resentment towards him. What is the halo of falling in love at first sight? No one will enjoy a life that has been arranged. So, she secretly decided that after seeing that Ye Xuan, she must make sure he looks good. It is impossible for oneself to stick things backwards, and it is also impossible for a lifetime. And, as expected, it was at this moment. Quickly, in front of everyone, Ye Xuan, who exuded a strong sense of arrogance towards heaven and earth, burst out with the aura of a bastard, appeared alone and independent. His black and shiny vertical hair, slanted and handsome sword eyebrows, dressed in ordinary clothes, but possessing the aura of a supreme king, made passers-by unable to resist giving him a second glance. The villain Bai Zihang also fell in love with him at a glance. Ah bah, he was very unhappy at first glance, I don't know why. This may be the bond between the protagonist of Fate and the villain, where they don't like each other as soon as they meet. And at this point, Qin Yue should have fallen in love at first sight or something, right? Su Chen looked at Qin Yue next to her and was surprised to find out. Surprisingly, the other party didn't look at Ye Xuan who had just appeared, but kept staring at themselves. Omega Omega, sleeping slut. Sister, what are you looking at me for? Look at Ye Xuan. Su Chen is really crying and laughing uncontrollably. This female lead is not sensible. Qin Yue's watery eyes kept looking at Su Chen, and she was once again amused by his inner voice. It's up to you. Just keep an eye on you. There was an inexplicable aura of death and arrogance. At this point, I should have arrived at the Baiziheng 705 store and had my eye on a piece of raw stone for a while. As expected, soon Baiziheng took notice of a rough and bumpy surface, but in reality, it contained a raw stone of imperial green. "Boss, how much does your stone cost?" Baizi sailed towards the old man with a white beard and asked. "Young master, you really have a good eye. The price of this stone is 10 million yuan. It's a newly purchased raw stone. 10 million. So expensive. I don't know if it's due to the halo of lowering intelligence or something." When Bai Zihong heard the price, he felt that the boss was deceiving him. This broken stone doesn't look like something that can sell for 10 million no matter how it looks. Moreover, there was a younger brother next to him urging, "Young master, this raw stone has a rough and dark surface, and it doesn't seem to be valuable at first glance. Yeah, this boss must be deceiving you of your money, young master. You can't buy it. Young master, please think twice." The younger brothers next to them are all playing the role of storyline tools, urging Bai Zihong not to buy this stone. And Ye Xuan beside him, upon hearing these people's words, almost couldn't help but tilt his mouth and burst out laughing. This stone, judged by his professional appraisal, definitely contains the legendary imperial green inside. But now he dare not snatch it. Once he does, as he has just returned to China and cannot use a lot of funds, he will definitely not be able to snatch this wealthy second generation. This wealthy second generation has so many bodyguards around him, and there is also a woman who has fallen from grace. At first glance, she is not an ordinary person, and it is definitely impossible to compete with him. Ye Xuan was very clever and decided to wait for the other party to leave before making a purchase. But at that moment, a magnetic and unique sound rang out. "Young master, I think this raw stone can be bought." At this moment, Chen was speaking in the crowd. "This piece of glass and jade may be bumpy, but..." Chen began to analyze blindly and talked about everything about the moderate fog layer. "The sand is very delicate, the surface is very smooth, and there are no major cracks. Moreover, the shell is often yellow-brown, and there is a clear sense of sand when touched by hand. It is to guide the topic to the fact that many good things are derived from seemingly garbage like raw stones. And most importantly, young master, you are not short of money. This 10 million is nothing to you. Since you're interested, let's buy it. The first instinct is often the best." As soon as the brainwashing words came out, Bai Zihan was stunned and couldn't help but think. It seems to have detached from the influence of the halo of lowering intelligence once again. Sleeping trough. You bastard. In an instant, Ye Xuan beside him began to curse in his heart. How did this kid know there was something good inside? I'm just a fairy, you must not buy it. Don't listen to him. Ye Xuan had to say, it's urgent, it's indeed urgent. This is Emperor Green inside. And at this moment, Qin Yue next to her felt extremely interesting and kept looking at Chen. Chen is also curious. Did the female lead have a brain twitch? What are you staring at all the time? Isn't Ye Xuan making an appearance? You keep an eye on him. Indeed, I'm not short of this 10 million anyway. Boss, come over and buy it directly. Bai Zihang smiled and shook his hand grandly, ready to buy this stone. Young master, you have a good eye. I'll have someone carve a stone for you now. The boss also burst out laughing and quickly called for someone to come and beat the drums and beat the gold. This is a rule in the gambling industry, as long as it is a stone of over 10 million, one can beat the drum and make a fortune. Attracting more people to watch and inspiring their gambling hearts. Quickly, the scene attracted many onlookers. Oh, I didn't expect such an exciting opening this morning. Shop 705, isn't this boss the legendary pit god? How dare you buy this? These stones are bumpy and I don't think they can produce good things. I bought this for 10 million, it's hilarious. At this moment, passers-by were all crazily mocking. According to the original work, it should be by Zihang who refused to buy it, then Ye Xuan took over the plate, was mocked, and finally offered Emperor Green. But due to Su Chen's reckless actions, the entire scene has now undergone changes. I'm going to open it, I'm going to open it. With the operation of the stone carver, the glass-type jade slowly began to appear a little green. Sleeping trough, this can actually turn green, it's amazing. And this green one is too fast, isn't it? It's even faster than my last wife turning green. What? This wave is amazing. The people on site were all shocked, and with the further operation of the stone cutter. Quickly, a very green, oily green, almost dripping imperial green appeared in front of everyone. Everyone present was suddenly stunned. Chapter 4. This little brother can handle things. If something happens, he's really up to it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Emperor Green, this is Emperor Green. At first glance, Emperor Green appears similar to Lake Blue, appearing emerald green under strong light and sunny green under digital flash, with unpredictable changes. Completely amazed everyone present. This. Even the person involved, by Zihang, was very surprised, as if he had never expected it. My own dog poop luck, and such a day. This young master has a good eye. This big piece of stone has been sold for at least 2 billion yuan. If you buy it for 10 million yuan, you can earn 190 million yuan directly with your blood. Nima, one knife is rich, one knife is poor, and one knife is wearing linen. It's really not fake. The people present are all old players in the gambling circle. For the price of this stone, you can basically get a rough idea at a glance. Natural jadeite has a transparent or semi-transparent texture, with a shiny and oily surface. Upon careful observation, it can be seen that there are slightly transparent, salt particles, in a nearly circular shape and fibrous substances surrounding it. It is definitely a stone worth over 200 million yuan. Your taste is good. At this moment, Bai Zihang's heart was surging and he came over to pat Su Chen's shoulder, praising him, I will give you a reward when I go back later. No, why not give it now? So, let the secretary next to her do it again. Ding. Your Gongshang Bank has received 100 million yuan. Soon, Su Chen's phone information prompt sound came on. He forgot to turn off the beep. Anyway, upon hearing this voice, everyone present showed envy in their eyes, it was really sour. Especially the other younger brothers of Bai Zihang. Omega, oh, damn it. Everyone is a little brother, why are you so showy? If you envy me, I can't say it at all. Anyway, envy, jealousy, and hate will be over. In a few words, he earned 100 million yuan. Su Chen said, this little brother, you can be a good one. Other passers-by also envy Su Chen. How many years of salary is this for an ordinary worker? This is too fierce. At this moment, Ye Xuan beside him had already chewed through his gums. He never expected that the stone he was interested in would be cut off by this wealthy second generation. At this moment, the protagonist was completely unaware that it was actually a stone that others had first set their sights on. His subjective judgment is that all good things should belong to him, and others have no right to ask for them. And Qin Yue next to her was also very surprised, or rather, not surprising. What she didn't expect was that the story in Su Chen's heart actually happened. And because of his existence, the story has already changed. And the accompanying voices also came again. According to the original plot, the second one should be that Bai Zihang was deceived by Ye Xuan and bought a garbage stone due to Emperor Green's beard being cut off. Bai Zihang was very unhappy, so he planned to cut off Ye Xuan's beard and saw what stone he wanted to buy, so he bought it at a high price, but Ye Xuan, who was quite cunning, deliberately bought a high-priced but junk stone to deceive the villain Bai Zihang. Then, after experiencing the Emperor's Green incident, Bai Zihang knew that Ye Xuan knew how to discern treasures and directly snatched him. However, it was actually Ye Xuan's trick. This stone was a piece of garbage, and through this, he humiliated Bai Zihang and made countless readers laugh. After all, besides making money, making the villain suffer is also one of the main highlights of the novel, so the question is, after experiencing the first plot, due to the butterfly effect, Emperor Green was captured by Bai Zihang. Will the second plot still happen? Chen is also somewhat puzzled. But what happened afterwards made others foolish. After Emperor Green, Ye Xuan also bought raw stones for 1 million at store 705 and then opened a piece of jade worth 7 million. Causing a small sensation around. Bai Zihang's mind moved and he decided to intercept the opponent. Actually, what's more important is that he doesn't like this Ye Xuan. I don't know why, but at first glance, he was very unhappy, and the other party's act of stealing his limelight made him even more angry and frustrated. And Ye Xuan, with a wicked smile, seemed to see that the other party was trying to grab his own stone. So, he walked up to the most expensive stone in the store and said to the boss, "Boss, the price of your stone is marked as 100 million, right? Can it be sold for 90 million? As soon as he was about to press the fingerprint to buy, Bai Zihang immediately wanted to cut off the opponent and said, "Boss, I'll take this stone, 1 billion. It's a good deal." As soon as these words were spoken, Ye Xuan tilted his lips and smiled, knowing that the other party had been deceived. At this moment, Chen rushed out and happened to bump into Ye Xuan. Ye Xuan pressed his fingerprint directly on the purchase contract. And Chen's voice came out. "Young master, this stone must never be bought." As soon as these words were spoken, the whole audience was stunned. And at this moment, a sentence came to everyone's mind. This little brother can handle it. If there's something, he's really up to it. Chapter 5. Blind Cat Meets Dead Mouse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Ye Xuan was bewildered, and the square root expression at the corner of his mouth turned into a downward square root. He stared blankly at the contract he had pressed under his hand. Then he glared fiercely at Chen like a wolf of wealth and said, "Hey, what are you doing? What for? Didn't you want to buy this raw stone? What's wrong?" Chen shrugged innocently and said, with a look that he really wanted someone to beat him up. At this moment, a sentence suddenly appeared in people's minds. This little brother can handle it. If there's something, he's really up to it. Ha! $1 billion stone, I almost bought it. Bai Zihang breathed an inexplicable sigh of relief. He didn't know what was wrong with his brain just now, whether it was a drop in intelligence or something. Subconsciously, he wanted to grab the other person's stone, but fortunately, Chen's words were in time, which made him calm down. Upon closer inspection, although this stone looks much better than my own bumpy original stone on the surface, in reality, who knows what's inside. In addition, after the Emperor Green incident just now, Bai Zihang has also gained trust in Chen's treasure appreciation ability. He said he won't buy, then he won't buy. So on Bai Zihang's side, he decisively stopped and stood in place, crossing his arms to watch the play. On Ye Xuan's side, he was forced by the boss and onlookers because he pressed his fingerprint. There was no other choice but to tearfully buy this $90 million stone. Moreover, after his own appraisal of treasure appreciation ability, it was found to be a piece of scrap stone, ranging from tens to hundreds of pieces. But now, Ye Xuan can only hope that he has taken a wrong look. So he roared in pain, "Give me a stone." Subsequently, the Kaisher master, who had just finished the Emperor Green, enthusiastically walked over with tools and began to carve stones. However, as the stone, which could not be seen at all green, surfaced, everyone present couldn't help but laugh and laugh happily. Puff. Ha ha ha. I spent 100 million, oh no, I spent 90 million to buy such a useless stone. Brother, you're really talented. Now it's really a loss to Grandma's house. Cough. Forgive me for laughing out loud, poop. Everyone present began to mock without being kind. After all, as everyone knows, the protagonist usually comes with a sarcastic aura. But this, people are usually ridiculed, at least they can still slap their faces with a backhand. And what about Ye Xuan? Not only did he lose money, but he was also ridiculed by so many people. It feels like he really wants to hold on to a stone and quickly slip away. Ye Xuan cried. Originally, he wanted to harm others because he thought Bai Zihang would snatch it, but they didn't even snatch it. Blood Mother is at a loss. No, originally they wanted to snatch it, and even he could use it to buy it for 90 million yuan and then sell it to this foolish second-generation wealthy man for 100 million yuan. But this handsome-looking attendant, yes, even Ye Xuan has to admit that this product is indeed a bit handsome, even resembling the peak period of Gu Shaola. It was all this product that caused trouble that led to the current outcome. Although Ye Xuan kept staring at him, Su Chen didn't hesitate at all. Are you joking, the immortal body of King Kong, the perfect 12th floor, you're the little protagonist in the early stage. If it weren't for fear that there might be some protagonists like the immortal emperor in the future, Su Chen would love to kill Ye Xuan now. However, there was no other choice but to treat him as an experienced baby and gradually upgrade. You should know that in Su Chen's future, there is a possibility of gaining a villainous system and becoming a true destined villain. Dreams and the like are always necessary, we can't just be a little follower for the rest of our lives. Huh, kid, your taste is really good. At this time, even the emperor of the antique street, known as the Kong Lao figure, came out to meet Su Chen. Kong Lao is no stranger to Su Chen. In the original work, he was one of Ye Xuan's thighs, but now he has become his own thigh. Chen, what kind of car do you like? Are you interested in Lamborghini? I'll have someone match you with a Lamborghini Gallardo when I go back later. At this moment, Bai Zihang, who knew he had escaped a disaster, and almost spent 100 million to buy a bad stone, smiled and hugged Su Chen's shoulder, calling him a brother. As he spoke, he had already arranged his car. This Nima Su Chen gang roast that his identity as a small attendant was not good after he finished it. You have to deal with this, how fragrant it is. Thank you, young master. Young master is grand. Su Chen can only express her respect by saying thank you. This kid can handle it. At this moment, Bai Zihang's heart was also full of waves, and he felt that this young man was a bit interesting. The man in front of him, at first glance, was not an ordinary person, but for his own sake, Su Chen actually dared to go up and was not afraid of offending him. Suddenly, Su Chen was appreciated by Bai Zihang. Yes, the brainless and rich second-generation brain is just that simple and straightforward. I just feel that this person can get along with me, and I really met a dead mouse and identified him as the right person. In the future, Su Chen will definitely be a great help for him to fight against Ye Xuan. Do you know who our young master is in Chapter 6? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. On Ye Xuan's side, not only did he suffer a blood loss of 90 million yuan, but he was also surrounded and ridiculed by a group of people. How could he, as the Dragon King abroad, tolerate such humiliation? In addition, a sentence from Bai Zihang, the brainless second-generation wealthy man, directly ignited him. Ha ha ha. Sabi, by even these losing stones. If you don't know how to appreciate treasures, don't come to the antique street and go back to your mother's womb. Bai Zihang felt fortunate and comfortable throughout, and his mockery was also very natural. Just like how I should do it myself. Even he himself didn't realize what was wrong. And the attendants next to them also mocked and laughed heartily. There is an inner flavor, definitely a villainous flavor from novels. You're so special, you're looking for death. Unable to bear it, Ye Xuan finally charged forward in anger and punched one of his subordinates away. And a mid-position left whip leg swept and kicked the enemy's abdomen. After landing, he quickly turned to the left and swept his legs, instantly annihilating a group of people. Even the onlookers were stunned, as if they didn't expect the goods to be so good. And Ye Xuan's true strength is not only at this level, but at least he is also a foreign dragon king. With his bravery and combat prowess, he can easily defeat these small followers. You don't come over. At this moment, Bai Zihang panicked and was as timid as a dog, because his subordinates had already collapsed. He was left with only a bare rod commander and couldn't do anything. Security. Hurry up and call the security here. During his speech, Ye Xuan had already rushed forward, grabbed his collar, and lifted him up. It's as simple as catching a chicken. Sleeping trough. Help me, Ye Mei Dad. Bai Zihang, who was carried in the air, expressed a desire to cry and was very panicked. Ye Xuan picked up the other person with his left hand and slapped him directly in the face with his right hand, saying, "What's so special about you? Try mocking him again." With a loud bang, although it was loud, it was obvious that Ye Xuan had restrained his strength. Otherwise, if he slapped Bai Zihang with all his might, his head would probably be shaken by the blow. Sleeping trough. How dare you hit our young master? Do you know who our young master is? At this moment, Chen rushed forward with a flustered expression and scolded the other party. Pa! Ye Xuan slapped again, who cares about labor and management? Those who mock me will all die. The eighth aura of the Dragon King is emitted to the fullest. Sleeping trough. How dare you hit our young master? Do you know who our young master is? As soon as Chen finished speaking, Ye Xuan slapped Bai Zihang's face again. Our young master is. Before Chen finished speaking, Ye Xuan slapped Nima again. Bai Zihang is almost crying all over, lying down. Big brother, hurry up. You said I come from the Bai family, didn't you scare this thug? Jiangqing Bai family, most people must have heard of it. I don't care who you are. The heavenly King Laozi came today, and with these 50 slaps, he also got it. Ye Xuan slapped Bai Zihang's right face again. You. Don't you really know who our young master is? Chen looked at the other person in disbelief and said, our young master is from Bai. Pap. With another slap, Bai Zihang was really about to cry. He cried in his heart, please, big brother, speak quickly. I don't care who you are. Pop. Pop. Bang. The scene heard loud applause. Those who didn't know thought that the master of success was giving a lecture. Cough. Our young master is. Chen saw that Bai Zihang had been knocked unconscious and finally said, our young master is Bai Zihang from the Bai family in Jiangqing. With these words, Ye Xuan finally stopped slapping his hand and looked at the person he was holding in disbelief. This product comes from the Bai family in Jiangqing. He is not unfamiliar with the Bai family in Jiangqing, which is one of the 8 major families in Jiangqing. The backstage can be described as bustling. And he actually beat up someone else's son. Ye Xuan looked at the other party's swollen face, which looked like a pig's head. He didn't know what to say for a moment. He looked at Chen and thought to himself, sleeping trough. You old six, you should have told me earlier. You told me earlier that I would stop soon. At this moment, Bai Zihang was already dizzy and disoriented by the fan. I'm afraid if I let go of him, he could easily fall to the ground. That's right, our young master is Bai Zihang from the Bai family in Jiangqing. Chen who pretended to be a tiger and said, you quickly stop. At the same time, he also chuckled inwardly, hee hee. The plan is successful. Yes, this is exactly one of Chen's plans. Due to the issue of changing the plot, Ye Xuan's hatred towards Bai Zihang almost turned to himself. And Bai Zihang's hatred towards Ye Xuan can be said to have never existed at all. Because firstly, he did not have the green color of the truncated Hu Emperor in the original plot. There is no tricked money in the original work. Chen helped by Zihang avoid everything. So the hatred value between the two will definitely be affected. Well. Help to bring down the hatred, the relationship between the two has progressed to an endless level. Chen. ******, are you still afraid that there won't be various rewards from the system in the future? Chapter 7. Happy Day, End. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Mad, you damn old six. With a bang, Ye Xuan bang put down by Zihang and rushed towards Chen. There's no way, the Bai family is already at a level where they don't stop or die. At least before leaving, he must teach this damn mastermind behind the scenes a lesson. Ye Xuan quickly rushed over to Chen's side, gathered his strength, and threw a punch at his right arm. Give it a full blow. Just like a scion, at this moment, Ye Xuan's art style seemed to fluctuate and unleashed his full force. Bang! Just as Ye Xuan punched Chen, suddenly. Click, click, click. The sound of crazy bone fractures rang out. Ye Xuan felt unparalleled pain. His hand, it's cracked. And it immediately backfired on him, with a pop sound. A large mouthful of black blood spat out from his mouth. What? Chen, Sigma. Having an indestructible body of Vajra and 12 layers of great fullness, he feels very confused. Just now, did you seem to have been beaten up, but why doesn't it hurt? It feels similar to a mosquito bite. Chen stood still for a second, then flew backwards with a pop sound. Before dying, he said incredulously, well. So powerful. Then with a thud, he fell into the grass. Start lying flat and pretending to be dead. Because the first plot has come to an end, there is no profit to continue. Just wait for the system reward to finish. Humph. You've seen my prowess. Ye Xuan hid his fractured right hand behind him. Struggling to endure the intense pain, Wang Baqi vented his anger and strode away from the scene. I actually want to find a doctor to handle it quickly. Puff. Qin Yue, the seductive woman next to her, had already laughed uncontrollably at this scene. My long legs are almost unable to support me. It's really funny. Especially the scene where Chen was stunned for a second and then flew backwards. It's really funny. The most crucial thing is that his fiancée by Zihang, was beaten up to look like a pig's head. It's really refreshing. She hasn't been so comfortable since the marriage alliance. And all of this was brought to her by the man in front of her. Qin Yue naturally twisted her delicate waist and walked over, squatting down and whispering, hey, wake up, the person has already left. Cough. Chen sat up from the ground with difficulty and said, what? The culprit who hurt the young master has actually left. Sleeping slot, fortunately Ye Xuan, you are clever, otherwise I don't know how to finish later, Nima. Alright now, the hatred level is full. The first plot has finally come to an end. At the same time, the sound of the system also sounded. Detected that the host has experienced the first plot, summarizing rewards. Ding. Congratulations on the host's waist being improved. Constitution +5, appearance and temperament +5, what? Chenren is all dumbfounded, lying in bed. The demand is already strong, can you give me this? Although it's simple and rough, but how fragrant. Afterwards, the ambulance finally arrived and everyone was carried into the ambulance. And the only survivor, Chen, who can still walk and move, was specially taken care of by various nurse sisters who gave her a flirtatious look. Alas, there's nothing I can do. Being handsome can sometimes be a worry. Moreover, the system guy is still crazily adding bonuses to his appearance and physique, which makes it even more outrageous. No wonder Qin Yue, this little girl, always stares at me, must have taken a liking to my unparalleled beauty, right? Ha ha ha. With a keen eye. Su Chen gave Qin Yue a thumbs up. However, sister.in.law or something, cough, is not very active yet. Let's talk about it later. So, a happy day came to an end, with everyone hanging the lottery. Chapter 8. I treat you as my brother and you treat me as my brother.in.law. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The next day. Su Chen, who woke up in the ward, rubbed her sleepy eyes. Yes. I heard it right. He was also taken to the ward for special care. After all, the influence of the Bai family is spread throughout Jiangcheng, and there must be private hospitals and so on. And Bai Zihang was right next door, with nothing separating them. Bai Zihang's face was already bandaged and swollen like a pig's head. Hello, good morning, young master. Su Chen was about to raise his hand and say hello, but found that even his own hand was wrapped in a bandage. What is the situation? He was clearly not injured. Good morning, brother Chen. Bai Zihang also greeted with a relaxed and happy smile, as if he was in a good mood. And Chen Gu. Su Chen was stunned. What was the situation? Why did she wake up and even change her way of speaking? Later, when he learned the truth from Bai Zihang's mouth, the water he was drinking almost sprayed all over his face. According to Qin Yue's review, the situation is like this. After Bai Zihang was beaten to death by Ye Xuan, it was Su Chen who rushed forward and engaged in a fierce battle with Ye Xuan. In the end, he was severely injured and saved his life. That's also why Su Chen is also wearing a bandage, doing a full set of acting, Mist Grass 0.0. This woman really has a crush on me. I have a crush on the stone hammer. It's amazing. Otherwise, Su Chen couldn't figure out why the other party would help him fabricate such a perfect and advantageous lie. Thank you, brother Chen. If it weren't for you. Bai Zihang recalled the scene with great sorrow and said, if it weren't for you. If it weren't for me. Maybe you wouldn't have been beaten. Of course, this is Su Chen's voice. He couldn't possibly say it, even if you were to die, if it weren't for you, my life would be yours. Bai Zihang was deeply moved and began to wipe away tears on the scene. He even suggested buying incense, yellow paper, and sworn brothers with Su Chen in front of Guan Yu. The more he said it, the more outrageous it became. He wished Su Chen would immediately sworn brothers with him. At this moment, Bai Zihang's mind came up with a brilliant idea. At that moment, the door of the ward was pushed open. A stunning woman appeared in front of the two of them. Her waist was tightly clenched, so flawless and so unappealing that it was as if a fairy from heaven had descended upon the mortal world. That pair of talking seductive eyes flickered with water, emitting a soul-stirring and soul-stirring light, as if trying to suck in a person's heart and mind. This person is the protagonist Bai Gucheng, who is also Bai Zihang's biological sister. The idea he just came up with was to turn Su Chen into his brother.in.law. In this way, wouldn't it be possible to keep this talented person by your side forever? Bai Zihang had to angrily praise his clever mind. How are you doing? Are you okay? Bai Gucheng is famous for his tall appearance, large size, good figure, crisp voice, and extremely cold, making him an absolute beauty in the world. Even when it comes to one's own younger brother, the tone is aloof and exudes a royal elder sister-like demeanor. Maybe those imperial sisters who control her would be eager to lie on the ground and lick her feet. Sister, I'm fine. Let me introduce you. This is. Bai Zihang began to introduce Su Chen next to him. The story originally described by Qin Yue is already outrageous enough. What kind of intense fighting and so on. And now. Under Bai Zihang's narration, it has turned into a desperate struggle between life and death. With each punch, we fought evenly for 500 rounds. In the end, I saved your own brother. Bai Zihang respectfully bowed and said to Su Chen, I have no way to repay you, only to offer my elder sister one. I hope brother Chen likes it. Pop. Bai Zihang's pig head suffered another powerful blow and once again lost consciousness. Bai Guqing took action. It really doesn't matter how serious it is. Su Chen watched from the side, feeling numb for the other person's scalp. Bai Guqing is a ruthless woman. Unfortunately, such a beautiful woman eventually transformed from a villainous sister to Ye Xuan's harem, and when the Bai family finally collapsed in front of Ye Xuan, Bai Guqing even recognized the thief as his husband and became his woman. It has to be said that the plot of Wireless Xiaobeiwen is really brainless and illogical. But it's okay, readers can just watch it and it's over. Who would care about these things? I will also become one of Ye Xuan's harems. Bai Guqing was not surprised by this. From the moment she could hear Su Chen's voice, she had already sent someone to investigate the information about Ye Xuan. And, this is actually the world of novels or something. As one of the living characters inside, it is impossible for Bai Guqing to say he is not afraid. But let it be as it comes. The calm woman quickly came up with a solution. That's not right. As soon as I came over, I headed toward Su Chen's ward. Yes, she's not looking at her own brother, but at Su Chen. Get in the wheelchair, I have something to say to you. Bai Guqing gave a cold and direct command. Miss, here. Su Chen pointed to the bandage on her body. It seemed a bit difficult to put on. The most crucial thing is that he has to portray the half-dead feeling of the injured. Getting into the wheelchair on my own always feels strange. Bai Guqing patrolled outside, but was surprised not to see any nurses. It should be the nurses from a private hospital, thinking she came to talk about things, so they all hid away one by one. After all, caregivers are not qualified to listen to conversations between wealthy people. Under no other circumstances, Bai Guqing, this charming creature, could only approach Su Chen and prepare to help him get into a wheelchair. Chapter 9. Sorrow for my family, Geegie. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 10. Mastery of Muay Thai and Gunmanship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Can you use a gun? Bai Guqing inquired. Su Chen was stunned for a moment, just as she was about to answer no. Suddenly, the sound of the system rang out. Detected that the host is about to start a future storyline, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the forbidden skill, ancient Thai boxing. Ding. Congratulations to the host for achieving master-level proficiency in marksmanship. Su Chen, who heard the system sound, was overjoyed. This Tongzi is really considerate. Like the previous Vajra immortal body, the reward seemed to be for skills that will soon be useful. Originally, he was thinking that he was full of defense and lacked any offensive ability, and then the ancient Thai boxing arrived. You should know that this is a modern martial arts technique that has been banned, because the moves used by Gutai boxers are completely taboo. Regardless of throwing, turning joints, throwing, ground combat, flying, head touching, buttocks hitting, and other movements, they can be applied. Poisonous moves such as eye piercing and yin teasing are also allowed, which is particularly terrifying. It's completely aimed at taking people's lives. And master-level marksmanship is not to mention. Su Chen already has various ways and techniques of using marksmanship in his mind. Not to mention ordinary handguns, even Gatling or heavy sniper can be easily used. Both rewards were integrated and entered his mind. Well, of course. As soon as Su Chen finished nodding, he threw a Czech CZ-83 pistol into his hand. Bai Guqing always carried this thing, which also surprised Su Chen. It's truly a world of novels, where guns and everything are just casual. So, Bai Guqing and Bai Zihang said that Su Chen had been transferred to the ward and forcibly abducted his younger brother. Bai Zihang, lying on the hospital bed, still feels a lot of pain. Because he can't move yet, I thought there was someone who could chat. Result: Su Chen has been transferred to the ward. Unable to help, Bai Zihang began to cry with emotion. Chen Gu, he must have been transferred to the ICU ward. For me. Chen Gu, he has put in so much effort. Bai Zihan was touched by his own brainpower and sobbed sharply. He instructed his secretary to directly punch 10 million into Su Chen's card. On the other hand, Su Chen, who had just released the bandage and regained her personal freedom, received a prompt and was completely dumbfounded. Ding! Your Gongshang Bank has received 10 million. Oh, I didn't expect Bai Guqing to be quite generous. I haven't gone out to work yet, so you gave me 10 million yuan. You can go ahead. This new boss is quite sensible. As soon as Su Chen's voice sounded, the nearby Baigu city was filled with question marks on its face. What the hell, when did she give 10 million? Or is this the kid's wish? Then Miss Ben will fulfill it for you. Quickly, Bai Guqing directly transferred 10 million to Su Chen's account. This is nothing to her at all, just pocket money. Ding! Your Gongshang Bank has received 10 million. What? Su Chen is confused again. Nima. Does the payment still include installment payments? He is foolish. Then, when the evening arrived, others became even more foolish. At night on the way to the underground world of Royal One, Su Chen is driving the Lamborghini Gallardo, which is a car assigned to him by Bai Zihang. I planned to open it after he left the ICU ward, but it has been used in advance now. And on the front passenger seat, of course, there is the fairy Bai Guqing sitting. She is about 172 centimeters tall and is wearing a sexy off-the-shoulder sloping collar outfit. The water shrouds the mist and lingers on the ground, seductive and alluring. The small corners of her mouth slightly curl up, her red lips slightly open, and she wants to attract a kiss and be plump. This is a woman who exudes a seductive charm from her bones. She seems to be constantly tempting men and affecting their nerves, making Su Chen unable to concentrate on driving. MD. What kind of ghosts are these female leads? How do they all know that I like silk? Can they hear my heart, can they? When this idea came up, Su Chen was completely shocked. After careful consideration, I realized it was unlikely. After all, in the original work, Bai Guqing did not have the ability to hear people's voices. The female protagonists do not have any special skills. So, it's impossible. Thinking of this, Su Chen breathed a sigh of relief and continued driving. And what he didn't know was that Bai Guqing, who was next to her, also breathed a sigh of relief. Subsequently, she sent out a tempting invitation with her slender and well-proportioned legs, and even her beautiful lotus feet silently enchanting. I lifted my beautiful legs and placed them on the front of the passenger car. Gudong. Su Chen couldn't help but swallow her saliva. This is so special. As long as it's a normal man, he can't withstand it, okay. Fairy. Damn the fairy. Miss, is it only the two of us who are going to negotiate? Su Chen asked curiously. By the way, I also need to shift my attention, otherwise this beautiful leg really won't be able to withstand it. With the control of the imperial sister, she will definitely die suddenly in 1 second. Of course, what's wrong? Are you afraid? Bai Guqing suddenly smiled and leaned closer to Su Chen, along with her beautiful legs. I'm not afraid, I'm just a little curious. Su Chen only said half of what he said. After all, he couldn't say it. He knew it was to win over one of the underground tycoons, Jin Long, right? After all, Jin Long is a younger brother of the protagonist Ye Xuan in the future, one of the big shots in the underworld, and he is still very fierce. Curiosity. Are you curious about what happened tonight, or? Bai Guqing twisted his slender waist and suddenly approached Su Chen, exhaling like a orchid and saying, "You're still curious about me. And from this angle, you can still see." Hiss. God, kill me. Oh, Su Chen said that she really couldn't resist the temptation of this fairy anymore. MD, if the plot breaks down, he becomes Bai Zihang's brother. In law and also serves as Mao's attendant. But in that case, I don't know if the system reward will be triggered. Alas, nowadays, it's really difficult to become a follower.